Hi everyone, Jen Turnham here. I am the host of private Facebook group Energized Women with Jen, and the purpose of this group is to create a place for women who traditionally put everyone else first, and I wanted to create a space where they could start focusing on filling their own cup so that they can become better mothers, friends, sisters, partners, etc. Today's topic in my weekly video is the fourth and final of the 4 agreements, and it's always do your best. Before I go into that though, just wanted to mention a special offer that I have running this week. So a couple of spots have opened up in my schedule, and I want to allocate them to 3 people who would like a coaching call on one or all of the 4 agreements and how they apply to life and how psychology and brain science come into it as well. I've covered these 4 agreements in recent weeks. Just to refresh, the 4 agreements are: number 1, be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And today's one is always do your best. So I have the special offer for 3 spots in my diary. So 3 people can have a 1-hour call for the special discounted rate of $47. First in, best dressed. Email info@jenturnham.com if you're interested. So back to the topic, always do your best. Now every time I hear that line, it reminds me of school, because that's what I was always told, always do your best. As long as you do your best, it's okay. But when you actually think about it, it is such a powerful concept. So I wanted to look into it a little deeper. So I wanted to, I suppose, establish if you guys have similar beliefs, I suppose, or understandings that I do. So how many of you believe that in order to be super successful, you need to do hours and hours, day after day, year after year, and pretty much have no life? I think that's kind of an unspoken assumption, I think, that a lot of us make, that to be successful, that's what you need to do. And that's what I used to think too. It sounds exhausting, impossible, and frankly, I think it's a pretty crappy way to live your life. So I'm walking proof that you don't need to do that. Because of my health issues, I haven't been able to work hours and hours, day after day, week after week for the last couple of years. So it's not true. It's just this kind of unspoken or unwritten thing that we assume. So that's one thing that's potentially getting in the way. The other question I want to ask is, how many of you have given up on a goal because you didn't think that you could sustain the effort that was necessary to keep going day after day, week after week? Hopefully you can all relate to that. And I think the main example that springs to mind when it comes to that situation is perhaps New Year's resolutions. When things get a little bit hard, or we have an off day, or we break our promise to ourselves, then sometimes we give up because it all becomes too hard. So what is the situation? What are we actually doing? I think the challenge is we're setting big goals, and there's nothing wrong with big goals, but we get frustrated and downhearted when things don't go according to plan. So we might suffer a setback, or as I said, we have a bad day, and so we give up on that particular goal, or we switch goals and try something else. Now the challenge with this is I think we expect things to be perfect. We believe that we can be super productive if we just put our minds to it. We believe that we can not have bad days, or that if we do have a bad day, somehow we just need to get over it. And I think all of those are not only unrealistic expectations, but they're also really unhelpful because we're putting all this extra pressure on ourselves and it's not helpful at all, and it's not working because all that ends up happening is that we give up on our goals, which is not a good thing, obviously. So when we are having these bad days, or when we are having these setbacks, we basically stop and we give up, or we change goals. And also because we think it's not sustainable to live this way. And that bit is true, because it isn't sustainable to have perfect days and have super productive days every day of the week. So that's why our current way of doing things isn't working, because the expectations that we have are completely unrealistic. The fact of the matter is that life has its ups and downs. Crap stuff happens to good people all the time. Life is also full of dichotomies: happy, sad, good, bad, energized, tired, motivated, not motivated. And so if we expect that just because we've decided, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this change, or I'm going to achieve this goal, just because we've decided that, we seem to expect that there's going to be smooth sailing. And I think that's completely naive and a little bit crazy of us to have those expectations, and yet we do. So that's where the true power of this concept, always do your best, comes in, because it, I suppose, how do I say, it allows us to have those bad days without them completely derailing us and completely causing us to give up. And the reason it's so powerful is because the key here, so the basic statement is always do your best, but the key is that your best is going to be different on any given day. So think about that for a little bit. Your best is going to be different on different days. Some days you might jump out of bed, you got heaps of energy, you're feeling really motivated, so you just have this super productive, crazy busy day and you feel really good. Other days, so that's basically you've done your best that day. Other days you might be struggling to get motivated, you might have a headache, you might be really tired, and that's where this concept can be really, really helpful to all of us, because on that particular day, in that particular situation, doing your best is obviously not running around and having this super productive day. It could be just managing to get the washing done. It could be as simple as that. That could be your best for that particular day. And this is a concept that I have really had to learn over the last, I have been trying to learn it for the past couple of years, but it really started to sink in probably only in the last few months. So I've touched briefly on a lot of the health issues that I've had in the last 3 years. But basically the impact on me of that was extreme fatigue, brain fog, memory loss, and a whole range of other things. They're just the relevant symptoms. So on some days, my best was basically 45 minutes of concentration, whether that be on my part-time job or whether that be on my business. So that's what I mean by your best is different on any given day, because it takes into account all those other factors. So how much energy we have, what else is going on in our lives, health issues, headaches, all that sort of stuff. So if you can really implement this agreement of the 4 agreements, if you can put this into practice, then you will really start to notice significant differences, I suppose, in how far you get in life, because it will really help you to not give up on goals, to not have a bad day and think, oh, I've wrecked my latest diet or I've wrecked my latest exercise regime because I haven't done what I wanted to do. If you can just look back on the day and go, did I do my best? Then you can give it a big tick and move on to the next day. That's pretty much the concept. So as I said, it's based on the fourth of the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. A very, very good book if you wanted to give it a read. I would love to hear how you manage to apply this concept in your daily life and what impact it has, if you find it helpful, what you might have managed to achieve just based on always doing your best. And if any of you are interested in one of those special offer coaching calls, then please email info@jenturnham.com, and that's the 3 special priced coaching calls for $47. Thanks for listening, whether it be live or on the recording, and I will see you all next week. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.